Hello everyone, welcome to the second Senate blog. My name is Mariella Herberstein, I'm the Chair of Academic Senate, and today we are going to review the most recent Senate meeting which happened on July 26th. And with me I have my special guest Jackie Phillips, who is the Deputy Chair of Senate. And at the last Senate meeting I actually wasn't present, so Jackie is the only one who knows what happened, and Jackie will run us through the agenda and what was being discussed at Senate.
Thank you, Mariella. So the first item on the agenda for the meeting was the acknowledgement of country. So we acknowledge the Darug people, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet. I then had the pleasure of welcoming guests and observers to the Senate meeting, including a number of Indigenous staff representatives from across the campus who were noted as being present, and we also noted the apologies for the meeting. So, yes. My next task was to, unfortunately, have to thank two members who have resigned from Senate. So the first was Kathy Reitmeister, who was elected to Senate in 2014. Kathy's been a very active and valuable member of Academic Senate and participated in a number of the governance committees. And her knowledge of governance matters and engagement in a number of important Senate projects has been greatly appreciated. Nicholas McGuigan has also resigned from Senate, and during his tenure he served as a member of the Senate Learning and Teaching Committee. Now, as a result of Nick's resignation, we also now have a casual vacancy in the Faculty of Economics and Business, and that vacancy will be filled according to normal processes.
Great. Traditionally, the second item on the agenda is, of course, the minutes of the previous meeting.
And so the minutes were noted. Two minor changes were made in regards to dates with Resolution 1675 and 1676, but other than that, no other changes, and they were approved by the meeting.
Great. Was there any business arising?
There were two items arising from the minutes, or three major ones. One was a casual vacancy with regards to a faculty elected representative from the Faculty of Science and Engineering, your faculty, and we welcome Professor Jim Denyer to the Senate, and this was his first meeting. We also noted that there's actually still a casual vacancy from the Faculty of Arts. We also had the pleasure of welcoming a number of new student representatives to Academic Senate. So we welcomed Thomas Heddle, who is the filling representative from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, and we also welcomed a number of new members arising from the student elections, and we welcomed Paris Manson, who's from the Faculty of Arts, Sunyana Datta, a postgraduate student representative, and Braden Jones, another student postgraduate representative. Professor Saki Pretorius spoke to the meeting with regards to the new Research and Research Training Committee and Thesis Examination Subcommittee. He provided us an update on those two committees, informing us that the membership has finally been confirmed and that the first meeting of the Research and Research Training Committee will be on the 30th of August this year.
Great. Number 6 on the agenda was the report from the chair, so that was my report, and even though I wasn't present at the meeting, I pre-recorded a short statement for Senate, and the statement regarded the ranking of priorities for Senate projects. So to Senate, I explained the methodology we went about in terms of ranking Senate projects. I also explained that after an initial ranking, we consulted with the Academic Senate Standing Committee to confirm that ranking, and finally I presented the priority ranking for 2016 for the ongoing Senate projects to Senate itself, and I then asked via Jackie to open the floor for further discussion.
Thank you, Mariella. There was general consensus on the list of projects and their prioritisation, and we also discussed how Senate would engage with those different projects. Some of those projects, for example, included the academic progression policy, referral of the assessment policy Schedule 3, which deals with higher degree research, and that will be referred to the new Research and Research Training Committee. And we also talked about one of the items being the formation of a working group to review the recommendations arising from the position paper on academic integrity. So that list of priorities was endorsed and approved, and we moved on to the next item.
And the next item was the Vice-Chancellor's update.
So the Vice-Chancellor provided us with an update on issues on academic governance and strategy that are relevant to Senate. Of note was his update on Macquarie Park Innovation District, which is an innovation strategic project that's taking full advantage of allocation within Macquarie Park and has involved the formation of a formal partnership with a number of organisations in this district, including Optus, Johnson & Johnson, Abbott, Konica Minolta, NAB and AMP Capital, with the goal of driving strong collaborative and innovative projects on this specific research district.
Traditionally, following the Chair and the Vice-Chancellor's update is question time. This is an opportunity for members of Senate to ask questions both to the Vice-Chancellor and to the Chair. Were there any questions?
Yeah, there was a number of questions. One in particular was about the new Macquarie Park Innovation District, and it was noted that a key strategy to the success of this venture will be building of strong formal and informal relationships between the partners. There was also a question and some discussion about deregulation of fees by the federal government and if and when this might occur and what some of the implications might be for the university.
Absolutely. Next on the agenda were items for approval. So these are items that come to Senate for formal approval.
Yes, so the first major item that came up for approval was the revised statement on academic freedom from the Academic Freedom Working Group. So the Academic Senate Statement on Academic Freedom was a basis of discussion at the last Senate meeting, and the working group took away feedback from that meeting to revise the draft document for approval at this meeting of Senate. Key issues that were discussed and resolved were issues such as speaking within or outside one areas of expertise, the definition of academic standards, the standing of the statement, where it stands within the university policy and procedures and within the university statements of council and those sorts of areas, and also how it will be communicated with the wider university community. So Senate actually approved the recommendation to the Vice-Chancellor to rescind the current Academic Senate Statement on academic freedom and endorse the revised statement. That statement will now be noted at the next meeting of Academic Council, and I just wanted to note this is a really significant achievement, and it was the result of considered and collaborative engagement by numerous parties within the university, which were consulted and engaged during the process. So a really, really good outcome.
It also led to some very lively and interesting discussion on the floor.
Absolutely. Another item of approval which came through Senate at this particular meeting was the decision to rescind the English language policy. This was initially approved in November 2014, but this subsequent decision was based on a report from the English Language Policy Implementation Working Party, which was considered by a Senate Learning and Teaching Committee. So the plan is to now establish a Principles of English Language Statement, which we brought to the next Senate meeting for consideration.
The next item on the agenda were a number of topics for focused discussion, and the first of those was the academic progression policy.
Yes, so we had a number of updates provided. At the Senate meeting in February, a tiered progression and support model for academic progression was presented to Senate, and an update was given to Senate in April. At this particular meeting, Catherine Whittingham, who's the Head of Student Administration, and Professor Sherman Young, Pro-Vice-Chancellor of Learning and Teaching, provided a further update on issues that have arose in regards to implementation of this particular policy. Members were advised that the overall concept has been received very well and has had strong support, but questions have remained as to how the faculties will undertake the proposed support and interventions for the students. Discussion at the Senate meeting resolved around how to deal with those programs and offerings that don't align with standard session timelines, for example, and particularly for students who are studying part-time. There was also comment on the impact of the proposed policy on other policies. So, for example, what will happen with regard to double fails. So Sherman and Catherine have taken this feedback and they will comment back to Senate as that implementation program is being developed and progressed.
Great. Yeah. The second topic for discussion was the recommendations from the Prizes and Awards Working Party, and I believe you were part of that
I was part of that working party. I chaired that committee, but this particular discussion was led by Dr. Yvonne Bray, who is a member of the Prizes and Awards working group, and she provided an update and presented a series of recommendations that the working group have made. This working group was brought together because the university's been looking at the University Medal and how it sits within the overall suite of university awards and prizes, which has really arisen because of the change in the university system to no longer offer honours in a number of our programs and to now offer the Master of Research as an option. So the working group has recommended that the University Medal eligibility be restricted to students who have completed honours or the Master of Research, with nominations being limited to one student per discipline. And they have also recommended that weighting can be placed on the later components of the student's program to take into consideration those students who perhaps haven't done well in their first year but have excelled in the latter parts of their degrees. The university also recommended that greater effort is made to recognise the students that have been awarded the medal, so to improve their visibility and also to engage with them at a greater level. And another significant recommendation that's come from that group is to replace the Vice-Chancellor's commendations for academic excellence with what would be termed a Dean's commendation, Executive Dean's Orleans Commendation for Academic Excellence. And what this will do will provide an avenue by which students from, for example, Macquarie University International College, Masters Coursework students, and also Open Universities Australia students can be recognised for academic excellence. So this item will be coming back to Senate at its next meeting with a revised policy and procedure, and the working group will then be asked to refocus its considerations on the eligibility for the award of the University Medal, because it was felt that we hadn't yet resolved the issue that's arisen from the Master of Research, and the means that students can no longer do honours if that was what they had initially actually wanted to intend to do. So yes, thank you.
So the discussions around academic progression and the prizes and awards will return to Senate, and we'll report on those in future blogs. The next item on the agenda were the reports from the Senate standing committees.
Yes, so as per our normal agenda items, we received a number of reports from the University Senate committees. So we received and considered reports from the Academic Senate Standing Committee, the Academic Standards and Quality Committee, the Higher Degree Research Appeals Committee, the Senate Learning and Teaching Committee, and the Higher Degree Research Committee. We also received reports from all of the faculty boards. So they were all observed and noted within the agenda.
And that almost brings us to the end of the meeting. Was there any other business?
No, there are no other items of business raised. The next meeting of Academic Senate will be Tuesday the 13th of September 2016, which we're very much looking forward to having our chair back in the reins.
That's right. And the summary of the outcomes of the recent Senate meeting, it's called the Senate in Brief, is available on the Senate website, and I've added the link to that page just under this video blog. So if you didn't catch all the resolutions that we've talked through, just catch up on the Senate webpage.
Yes.
And I think that's it from
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.